Every bookshop is a condensed version of the world, says Jorge Carrión, a Spanish writer and literary critic who roams the globe in his study of unique bookshops. Having traveled to over 1,000 bookstores, Carrion has put all his anecdotes and meditations into the recent work, Bookshop, A Reader's History. As it has been translated into Chinese, the writer came to Beijing this May to chat with Chinese literati and visit some of the local bookstores. In his interview with China Daily, Carrion reiterates the role of traditional bookshops in the post-digital era, which reminds us of the magic of the written word. Welcome, Mr. Carrion, and thank you for being with us today. First, I want to congratulate you on the first Chinese version of your book.
Thank you very much.
The first question is, how many bookstores have you visited so far? Do you keep a record?
I don't really know, but I think more than 1,000 for sure.
You collect cards from every bookshop?
I collect cards, I collect notes, bookmarks, also photos. I have thousands of photos of the best or the more interesting, the most beautiful bookshops in the 5 continents. Yeah.
You have been to China before and plus this time. So do you have any suggestions for Chinese bookshops to help them not only survive but also thrive in the future?
I was in China only once before, 15 years ago, and I hardly recognize Beijing. I think the city has changed a lot. And now the new bookshops in Beijing are very similar to the most important bookshops around the world, especially in Europe and in America. They are following the same international trends, and I think that it is good. But I think they cannot forget the tradition and the particular aspects of the Chinese traditional bookshop.
Do you have any particular bookshop that you like?
I really think that Kids Republic could be the most beautiful children bookshop I have ever visited. It's amazing, the design of the space and the selection of the books for children. And I also really like it, page 1 in the center of the city, because it's very original and interesting that the bookshop is open the 24 hours of the day and the night. This is not common. And also the design and the architecture of the building is interesting and unique, because in page 1 you are like in 6 different bookshops inside the same bookshop. Then I think this kind of experience is really beautiful and nice, and for me, that I am someone that is always thinking the space where there is a relationship between the reader and the book. I find this bookshop really the beginning of a new way to understand how a bookshop can bring you a completely different experience.
So let's talk about the people at bookshops. So nowadays we have like price tags and also online retrieval system, all those things that help us to find books at bookshops. So we aren't used to chatting with clerks anymore, and the social aspects of bookshops seem to be disappearing right now. Do you think that this kind of old-time charm for bookshops will disappear because of those modern conveniences?
I think everything is changing. For instance, if you look at the relationship between the tourist and the local, the native, now with the selfies, you don't need to ask the other person to make the photo. And with the maps on your mobile, you don't have to ask for an address to someone that is living there. I think the same is happening in the bookshops. You are right, because now we don't need the conversation with the bookseller. But I think when you are all the time working at home with the computer or looking things in your mobile phone, you finally need again to have an eye contact with someone, a nice conversation. Then the bookshops are getting more and more physical and related with the sense, with the listening music, with having conversations, with teaching, with book clubs. And I think our age is getting more and more post-digital, and we need to touch the objects and to touch the paper and to have real feelings and real relationships with other people. And I think bookshops could be the perfect place for this kind of post-digital life.
From your book, Hello Shakespeare, and you talk about many TV shows. TV dramas are now consuming a lot of people's attention, but does that mean it have overshadowed the influence of books?
I think the key word is attention. I think everyone is fighting for our attention. TV shows have a special characteristics to win this battle for our attention. But at the same time, the interesting thing is that everything comes from literature. Because before cinema, before video games, before comic books, before TV shows, before internet, before social media, the most important tradition was literature. This is why my book is called Tell Shakespeare, because Shakespeare is in the middle of the Western canon, and also Shakespeare, Macbeth, Hamlet, King Lear had amazing influence in all the culture. Then when you are watching a film by Tarantino, or you are watching a TV show from HBO or Netflix, you are watching the echo of the echo of the echo of Shakespeare.
And if you to make a list of important books that one has to read, and what titles will be in the first 3 or top 5?
It's a difficult question, very difficult question. I think any reader has to find his books, and the books are different for anyone. I can say that the typical books like the Odyssey, Don Quixote, Hamlet. But I think the important question is which books are going to be fundamental for you, not for everyone, but only for you. They're going to change his life.